All right, looks like we are live. I haven't been live in a minute here on the channel, and yeah, I wanted to go live before the end of the year. I actually plan to do one other live stream, which we'll talk about in a minute. But basically, in this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about the games that I'm the most excited to play and most excited for the release of in 2022 so far, just based off of what we have a solid idea of what's going to be coming out during the next year. Now, I wanted to do an awesome video like I did on Pixel Pathfinder, where I did like the edits and all that kind of stuff. But man, the end of this year and the beginning of next year is absolutely just monstrously busy and crazy for me. So I know I'm not going to have time to do that. So I wanted to at least put something out, and I thought it'd be fun to do a live stream because I haven't done one in a while. I know this is a spontaneous live stream, so may not be too many people tuning in. But I wanted to do it in this format, just kind of casual, just hanging out, talking about the cool, exciting games that are coming up next year. And I'm really hoping that you guys can drop some stuff in the comments about which games you're excited about in case I absolutely missed something. So, coming up, we've got Christmas coming this week. We've got New Year's the week after. Basically a week and a half after that, I'm going to be moving to New York for my new job and all that craziness. And then, yeah, it's just going to be busy and hectic and insane for the next couple of months. So I've got this opportunity to make this video this way. And I did want to put it out there for you guys. And the other live stream that I'm planning to do before the end of the year is going to be the Winter 2022 anime season preview. And that one I will schedule far enough in advance so that you guys can join in for the live stream, just like we did the last one as well. So don't worry about that. It will not be a spontaneous one. It'll be planned. You guys will have a couple days notice in case you want to tune into that one. So we could talk anime like we did before. And I am still planning on making my crazy presentation. That's where like my time and work is going to go into, is for that video, because I don't make those very often. So I like them to be good. I don't know. It helps me do research to do the presentation. So I'm hoping you guys will enjoy that. So that's what we have going on here for the channel. I think from now through about mid-January, we've got this live stream. We've got the anime season preview live stream. And then I will probably keep putting out a couple more videos, some guides and stuff like that. I did want to talk to you guys real quick about Final Fantasy 14. I have not had the chance to get into the game the way that I want to in order to enjoy it. Like I said, it's been hectic, it's been busy. And to me, weirdly enough, the most important thing to me about playing Endwalker is the story. And I just really hate the idea of trying to play the game in like 30-minute spurts of when I have enough attention and energy, and having the story broken up that much for me. So I'm currently like just waiting until probably we're talking into January, February, somewhere in there. It's going to be a little later on before I get the chance to actually sit down and play. And that all depends on how things shake out when I move. So we'll see what happens. Once I do move and get all that stuff out the way. But I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're here and you're waiting for Final Fantasy, it's not forgotten. It's not off the table. I just do want to appreciate it because I am really just considering the story to be the most important thing for me. So, all right, let's get into it. So the format for this is basically I've got a list of my most excited games for 2022. And I'm just going to pull them up over here in a web browser as we go through them and just kind of show them off. And talk to you guys about them, and maybe you can catch something that you're interested in. And like I said, if there's something that you feel like I really, really missed, leave it in the comment section below. And we're going to kick things off. I've got these tiered, basically 3, 2, and 1. So tier 3 is stuff that I'm mildly excited about, maybe curious. I think it might be good. It might be fun. But I'm kind of like, I don't have the hype level for it, right? Like, I'm anticipating it and predicting that maybe these games will be something that I'm into, but they also might not. The number 2, the second tier, is going to be games that I actually am excited about, and at the moment, either there's some reason I'm not just like insanely crazy hyped about them right now, or potentially there's not enough information for me to be that hyped about them yet. So these are ones that I am actively getting kind of hyped for, but I'm just waiting to kind of see how some things pan out. And then obviously tier 1 is going to be the stuff that I'm super excited for, cannot wait for in 2022. And these are the games that I'm actually like, yes, let's get these. Let's bring these out and let's have fun playing these. So we're going to kick things off over here. We're going to switcheroo. Oh, Murphy, hey, super awesome to have somebody here checking out the video. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into the tier 3 games. So I'm probably going to do this in the order of stuff you've probably heard about down to stuff you may not have heard about. So I'll be doing the most popular out there stuff like first. So the first game is going to be Starfield. So if you have not heard about Starfield, Starfield is an upcoming game from Bethesda Games, who are the makers of Skyrim, and they're also the makers of the Fallout games. Bethesda has had a pretty shaky past couple of years with development. They keep re-releasing Skyrim over and over. I'm waiting for the Dixie Cup edition or the Snickers edition of Skyrim at this point. Their most recent Fallout was Fallout 76, which had a bad launch, and they kind of recovered from it. But needless to say, they've been struggling with some of the stuff that they've been doing. But that being said, the games that they put out, bugs and all, are still pretty darn good games. I played a ton of Skyrim when it originally came out. I haven't played a lot of Skyrim post like the first year or two that it was out. And I really enjoyed Fallout 4. I enjoyed Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. Basically, for me, if you put guns into the Bethesda game, I probably like it better. So Starfield is supposed to be like Skyrim or Fallout 4, but instead of being set in a post-apocalyptic world or a magical world, it's set in space. And to me, it being set in space pretty much means that it's going to have lasers and guns and the kind of stuff that I like from Fallout, but maybe it'll also have some weird mystical stuff because it's in space. I don't know. This seems like a super highly ambitious project from Bethesda. I believe they're making a new engine for it, but I could be wrong about that. And if they're not, my excitement goes down quite a bit. So Starfield is going to be the first game on this list. Like I said, these are the tier 3 where I'm anticipating being excited for these, but not necessarily sure that I will be. And the reason for that with Starfield is like I said, Bethesda has had some shaky development years. This seems pretty ambitious, and if they're not actually building a new engine for it, then that's gonna be pretty disappointing. Okay, so next up on this list, continuing with the super popular stuff, we're gonna have Tinytinas Wonderlands. Okay, so Tinytinas Wonderlands is a game from Gearbox, and Gearbox is the creators of the Borderlands series. And this is an entire game that's based off the Borderlands 2 DLC. I forget what it was called, but it's like Bunkers and Badasses. It's a take from Borderlands on Dungeons and Dragons, essentially. It's like Dungeons and Dragons with guns. Okay, and normally this would be the kind of thing that I'm like insanely excited about because Borderlands 1 was okay. I played some of that. Borderlands 2, I put over 600, 700 hours into. I absolutely loved the D&D DLC that they put out for Borderlands 2. It was one of my favorites. Definitely top 2 or 3. But Borderlands 3 and Borderlands the pre-sequel just really bored the shit out of me. Like, I could not get into those games at all. They felt repetitive. I didn't think they had a great plot. Like, there was just a lot of stuff about them that I did not enjoy. So I have this like favorite game of all time, not the favorite game, but one of my favorite games of all time, Borderlands 2, up here on this pedestal, right? And the DLC that inspired this game is part of that. Okay, but then down here in the garbage, I have Borderlands 3 and the pre-sequel, which are the most recent ones. And so I'm stuck in the middle, right? I'm stuck in the middle. That's why this is tier 3, because I'm like, if this hooks me like Borderlands 2 did, or yeah, we're going to be playing the hell out of this. But if it feels like garbage, you know, like Borderlands 3, then I'm not even going to care about this game at all. So I'm really, really hoping it's closer to the Borderlands 2 thing for me and not the Borderlands 3. So yeah, this is a first-person cooperative shooter. It's a dungeon crawler, essentially. You're just going to kill a bunch of stuff, get a bunch of loot like you would in Diablo. But like I said, it's first-person shooter style. You've got guns and everything, but you are in a fantasy world, essentially. So I was just talking about, hey, if you put guns in the Bethesda stuff, I'd like it better. So Skyrim, it's like Skyrim with guns. Skyrim with guns, essentially. But more of a looter shooter than it is like an RPG. And this is the first time that they're actually just kind of letting you do whatever you want with your classes as well. So there are not like pre-made characters that you're playing from the story. You're just actually going to build sort of your own character, which is fitting with the D&D stuff. So yeah, I'm right there in the middle where this could be great or it could be garbage. I'm really hoping it's great though. I need a good Borderlands game. Okay, so after Tinytinas Wonderlands, let's see, we've got we're getting into the realm of less popularly known. Let's go with this one. This one is Star Wars Eclipse. Okay, so Star Wars Eclipse, they put out a trailer for this during the Game Awards this year. And if you have not seen it, you should check it out, because this is how you do a Star Wars trailer, okay? This trailer is awesome. This game is by Quantic Dream, who are the developers of Detroit Become Human, which is not a game that I played, not a game I was super interested in playing, not the type of game that I normally play. It's basically a narrative-heavy, semi-action adventure style game. Not quite a visual novel, but we're kind of leaning over towards that direction. And originally, I was not excited about this at all. I haven't had a Star Wars game that I've been excited about in a long time, or Star Wars anything. But they did such a good job on this trailer of like invoking to me what is cool about Star Wars, which is just a ton of different like cultures and places to visit, that feeling of like exploration and wandering around these planets and like everything they put in here. And it kind of, to me, really played up on like the mysticism of Star Wars as opposed to like the sci-fi. And the mysticism of Star Wars is kind of what I really like, where you have these weird, you know, it's like magic, but it's in sci-fi. You've got these weird powers and things and creatures and like whatever's going on with the Eclipse, you know, here. Like they did such a good job with this trailer that it made me excited to know more about this game. And like I said, if you haven't watched this, watch it with the full audio and everything. I don't want to play trailers and stuff because I don't want to get like a copyright strike on this video. But man, they did such a good job that even with it being a narrative heavy game, I'm still really excited to see what they do with it. And this is tier 3 because I don't actually know what they're going to do with it. We haven't seen any gameplay or anything like that. Everything they've got for us on the website is pretty vague. You know, it says it's going to be an original Star Wars story. You're going to shape your fate in the Outer Rim, etc., etc. So, yeah, the trailer got me hyped. That's the short version. SWTOR, play it with me. Aren't they doing a remake or a second one or something? I thought I heard an announcement about something SWTOR related. Yeah, it was a remake, right? No, you're talking about the MMO. Star Wars The Old Republic. I have played that game. I haven't played it in a couple of years. It was KOTOR. KOTOR is what's getting a remake. That I do want to play. But it didn't make this list. Okay, so the next game is going to be Gotham Knights. So Gotham Knights, there's a lot of comic book shit in this video. Let me just put it out there. There's a lot of comic book games coming out in 2022 that I'm excited about because I like comic book shit. You know, this is a nerd channel. So Gotham Knights. Okay, this is, as far as I know, I think it's a open world action RPG. Okay, which is awesome. I love open world action RPGs. Some of my favorite games that I played is like Mad Max, Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor. I didn't really get into like the Assassin's Creed games, but like the Batman games, like Arkham and stuff like that, like all those kind of games. Big fan of those. And so this is an open world action RPG. It says it's set in the most dynamic and interactive Gotham City yet. Okay. So there's reasons why, even though this is an open world Batman game, which to me is like awesome, there's reasons why this is tier 3 and not higher. So first off is I don't actually care about any of the Gotham Knights characters all that much. Like Red Hood's kind of cool. Robin's a dork. Batgirl's a dork. Nightwing's pretty cool. But in the context of like DC characters that I give a crap about, like these characters not super high at all. So I'm not like too pumped about the characters necessarily. Also, this is being developed by who's doing this one? It's just Warner Brothers and WB Games Montreal. And so let's see. What have they developed? Like part of the reason I was not as excited about this. Okay, so this is like a new studio that's basically just doing Gotham Knights, and they did Batman Arkham Origins, which was maybe not my favorite one out of those. So the studio here to me is a little bit unproven, and I want to see what the studio can do. And so it's kind of a gray area for me. I'm like, well, overall, open world action RPG, DC Comics. Okay, we got a studio that's kind of done this before, but there's a lot of stuff that we still need to see how it's going to shake out before I'm going to get like too insanely hyped about this. But that being said, one big thing here is solo play, or you can play co-op with somebody. If that's online, then I'm in on this game. I love co-op. Like, co-op open world action RPG sounds fucking amazing. Like a better version of Saints Row. So yeah, pretty excited about Gotham Knights. Yeah, you were talking about the MMO. Okay. All right, we got 4 more games on this list. And now we're getting into some of the we got one more that you probably have heard of. So that's going to be Blood Bowl 3. So you may have heard of Blood Bowl in general, but Blood Bowl is basically the Warhammer fantasy football game. So if you think of Warhammer, the tabletop game, and all the crazy orcs and goblins and vermin and or whatever they're called, the rat people, I forget what they're called. I don't remember. If you think about all of them, then this is a football game that is basically played with these like medieval fantasy era races and stuff. Goblins, think World of Warcraft, the football game, basically. I've always wanted to get in on the ground floor of playing one of these, and this one looks like it's going to be the best one yet. So I'm really excited to get a hold of this and play it. That being said, I don't know if I'm actually really going to like it or if I'll play it long term. So that's the reason it's tier 3 and not higher than that. But I am hoping that I can find some people that want to play this. I'm hoping that there's a good league mode or campaign mode, and also just some good modes to play in PvP. I've always caught these games later on in their life cycle when it feels like there's a solved meta, essentially, and that, if you don't play a particular way, you kind of just lose over and over again. So I want to get in on the ground floor and play one of these. So yeah, this is on the list. But again, like I said, tier 3, because, it could be good, it could be whatever. Is it like that blood hockey game? Oh, a blood hockey game? No. Like as you can see, like this is like full 3D. It's also it's turn-based. Okay, so it is based on a tabletop game. Blood Bowl is a tabletop game where you play football turn-based. And you have different classes of characters, like you have, you know, strikers, linebackers, you know, defensive line, quarterbacks, that kind of stuff. But it's played out on a grid, and you basically take turns and roll dice and play cards and stuff like that to play the games. So, all right. So next up. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys will not have heard of these, so we're going to kick this off with the only cell phone game that made it on my list for anticipated games of 2022, and you can see it's in tier 3 because I just, like, it's really hard for me to put a mobile game on a tier list and not be, like, iffy about it, right? But this one is DC Heroes and Villains. Okay, so DC Heroes and Villains is a upcoming, should be early 2022 release game for Android and iOS. And this one does have like the characters I'm more interested in: Batman, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Catwoman, you know, some of the more popular ones. And this is like a match 3. So if you played like Puzzle and Dragons or Puzzle Quest or anything like that, it looks like it's going to have those sort of dynamics. Based on the screenshots that I'm seeing, you know, you've got your team of heroes down here at the bottom. You're going to be doing your match 3 stuff up here, probably to activate their abilities and to fight against the enemies they put up at the top of the screen. It's going to have some gacha mechanics where you're going to recruit different heroes and villains. But I mean, like right here, it's like Two-Face, Flash, like Cyborg, a different version of Hawkeye, maybe? I don't know who she is, but Aquaman, Penguin, Lex Luthor, Poison Ivy. We got all the DC characters that we give a shit about. It looks like, you know, your characters are going to have like equipment and different skills and stats and stuff, which I'm a big fan of. The cinematic trailer for this was also pretty cool. This one here. You know, and just in general, like I like comic book stuff, and there aren't any really good non-action based comic book mobile games that have come out since I've started playing some mobile games. So this is one that I can, you know, start playing as soon as it comes out. And I'm excited because of that. I really like the character artwork in this as well. I like the style that they've taken with it. I think the characters look pretty cool. You know, they can go all different sorts of ways with the comic book art style, but I like that this one is a little more cartoon, maybe a little more animated series-ish compared to the other games that sometimes go for the hyper realistic look, which I don't find as interesting or appealing. So yeah, I'm actually decently excited about this. I have signed up for it as a content creator, so I don't know if, you know, I'll get accepted or whatever, but if I do, and the game is good, then I'll probably make some videos for it here on the channel. Like I said, there's a lot of comic book stuff on these lists. Okay, so the next one is going to be called Heroes Hour. Okay, so this game is technically already out on itch.io, but I refuse to play it there because I just don't use itch.io as a platform. Murphy, you're watching. I may have told you about this game, but this is one that you should be excited about as well. So this is a turn-based strategy RPG with real-time combat. Okay, but basically this is Heroes of Might and Magic with RTS combat. And the game looks really good. It's got some roguelike elements to it. It's got this pixel art style and everything here. And like I said, the game's already out on itch.io. You know, if you wanted to jump in and play it, I'm waiting for the Steam release, which is going to be in 2022. But basically, you've got your different hero classes. You're on an open world map where you travel around. And you're going to interact with different objects and places and towns and things, as you can see here. You know, you're going to get like your treasure chest and your resources and stuff collected and all that kind of stuff. But then once you go into the actual combat, then it's going to play out in that RTS style. I am like dying for some good Heroes of Might and Magic style games, and there are 2 coming out next year that I'm excited about, and this is one of them. So the only reason that this is tier 3 for me is because it looks good, and it looks good enough for me that I think that I could get like several hours out of playing this, and I may actually just get addicted to this. I don't know. But it doesn't have the same level of polish and everything as the other game that did make this list. That's another Heroes of Might and Magic. So I couldn't put them on the same level. And ultimately I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, this is probably gonna be like 10, 15, 20 bucks. And we'll see. Maybe I'll get 5-6 hours out of it. Maybe I'll get 20. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure if it was between this and the other game on the list, like I would not even play this. So it kind of comes down to that. Like, what's the release window? Is this going to come out early enough that I actually play it? Or am I going to be playing the other game instead? So. What? Damn, son. I told you, Murphy. So, yeah, this one you could check out if you want. It's on itch.io. I really wanted to buy it, but I was like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the Steam release and see. So it says Heroes Hour is coming in early 2022. So it is going to come out in Q1 2022. The other game on this list comes out Q2 2022. So I will be playing this for sure, at least until the other game comes out. All right, and we are down to the last game in tier 3, and that game is the Bazaar. Now this game is in tier 3 mainly because I don't know if it's actually coming out in 2022. But this is a new sort of digital card game / auto battler that's coming. It's being developed by, I don't know the name of the company, or if they have they have to have a name. But basically there was a professional Hearthstone player who, you know, was frustrated with the game and also wanted to just make something different. He wanted to make something that was like a competitive deck building game. And so he started developing the Bazaar, and I've been following this game for a couple of years, and it looks like it's getting closer and closer to a playable version. And, it looks pretty good. I've been following the development videos, and they've been showing off gameplay, and I am really excited to try this game out and play it. But it is still in development. They are still making a lot of changes to it. So I'm not 100% positive like where the game's actually going to end up, but I am excited to see whatever it is that they do and to test it out and try it and see if I actually do like it. So this game, it is competitive. It's a competitive card game, but there's a lot of solo aspects to it where you're basically playing through levels, doing things where you're not fighting players, and then periodically throughout you do get matched up against players in these different fights. But there's a lot of other choices that you're making outside of the fights themselves to where it's not 100% just PvP. Like you're gonna encounter events, you're gonna, you know, encounter different markets and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know for sure if it's coming out in 2022. And like I said, they are like actively working on this a lot. So I still don't know entirely what the end result is going to be, but I'm excited about it either way. What's HIO? What do you mean? Update me, please. Okay, so we're going to move on to tier 2. So these are games that I'm actually excited about. Like, pretty confident I'm going to like them. I'm getting hyped about them for sure. But, like, based on the information I have, I'm hyped. And I need more information to be like, whoa, holy cow, I'm super hyped about these games for 2022. So again, we're going to go kind of in the order of stuff that you may have heard of already versus the stuff that you may not. So we're going to start with Ark Raiders. So Ark Raiders was just announced at the Game Awards. Ark Raiders is a free-to-play cooperative third-person shooter where your squad of raiders unite to resist the onslaught of Ark, which is a ruthless mechanized threat descending from space. So this looks really, really good. This is being developed by a new studio that was formed when the former head of EA left and took the majority of the team that developed the Battlefield series with him. Not the newest Battlefield, okay? The team was gone. So the shit show that's been the new Battlefield, this was not the team that worked on that, okay? This is the team that worked on the ones previous to that. And so this basically... it looks a lot like Battlefield, which is a game that I have not really played or gotten into very much. Same thing with Call of Duty and everything else. And the main reason for that is not because I don't like first-person shooters, because I do. Destiny, Borderlands, I just started playing GTFO. Like, I like first-person shooters, but the reason that I didn't get into those games is because I'm not a huge fan of competitive first-person shooters. But you throw this in cooperative style, and even though this is third person and not first person, it's the same kind of concept, and I'm in. So this looks like the Battlefield team's aesthetic and sound design combined with the Division's like third person shooting gameplay style, just kind of like smashed together and put into an open world cooperative third person shooter. And I'm like, yep, you're ticking off boxes for me here, because even though I never played like a lot of the Battlefield games, or well, I played most of them, but I didn't play them a lot. Aesthetically, they always looked dope as hell. And this game looks dope as hell as well in terms of aesthetics. Like, this looks crisp, right? So yeah, the look is great. The shooting mechanics from the Battlefield games have been great. I like the third-person stuff. I played both Divisions and enjoyed those a lot. And then just I already told you, I like open-world stuff anyway. So yeah, this kind of looks like the Division meets Battlefield meets Destiny smashed all together. And yeah, I'm fucking excited about it. So we'll have to see like some actual gameplay videos and stuff. This is a new studio that is untested as a studio, but it is comprised of a team that has put out great games previously. So I'm a little more confident in their ability to deliver than I am in some others. And at the end of the day, this is coming out free to play. So if it sucks, you at least don't have to pay for it. You said it came out on, it's itch.io. So if you go to itch, like I've got an itch.io, it's a platform for like super indie games. Like not indie games on Steam, but like weird, like 1, 2, 3 developer style games, stuff like that. So you can go on here and search for Heroes Hour, and it'll come up. Whoop. Oh, it's $10 on here. Tempting, so tempting, but it is coming out on Steam Q1, so I'm gonna wait. Okay, so that was Ark Raiders. The next game is going to be Path of Exile 2. So you guys have heard me talk about Path of Exile, and I'm glad I didn't put 3 X's in there. We could have been, down some weird rabbit hole that I don't want to go on in this video. But you guys have heard me talk about Path of Exile. You've heard me or seen me make videos on Path of Exile as well. So Path of Exile 2 should hopefully be coming out in 2022. It may not. I am still really excited about this because I like Path of Exile, and I'm excited to see the evolution of it from here. That being said, recently I have not been enjoying Path of Exile as much. The developers have made a lot of decisions regarding the game that I haven't really enjoyed, and also a lot of the in-game appeal is gone for me. I feel like Honestly, the thing that kills Path of Exile for me right now, the number one thing, is the fact that you have to repeat the campaign every season in order to level your characters, and the campaign sucks ass, and the developers can eat a dick for making you replay it over and over again. If they had something like Rifts, or if you could just jump into Delve, or you could just do maps and get to max level, I would be playing the shit out of Path of Exile right now. But honestly, fuck the devs for making you play the campaign over and over again. If you can't tell, there's a little bit of anger. There's a little bit of frustration here, and I probably need to move on from talking about it before this video gets too vulgar. But Path of Exile 2, even if you do have to play the campaign over and over again, hopefully it's a better campaign. It'll be a new campaign, and hopefully the systems and stuff are improved enough that playing through the campaign is actually fun. I don't know if it will be, and that's why this is in Tier 2 and not Tier 1. So Path of Exile 2 is here on the list. All right, we got one more game that you guys have probably heard of or heard something about maybe, which is going to be Warhammer 40k Darktide. All right, so I put this on my list of most anticipated games for 2021 back on Pixel Pathfinder, but the game actually got delayed to 2022. So Warhammer 40k Darktide is being developed by Fat Shark. Fat Shark is the team behind the Warhammer Vermintide and Vermintide 2 games. And Warhammer Vermintide was a pretty solid game that I enjoyed playing. It's a first-person, cooperative, what's the word? It's not a dungeon crawl, but it kind of is. It's a hack and slash. That's pretty good. First-person co-op hack and slash. So Warhammer Vermintide is set in the Warhammer fantasy universe, just like Blood Bowl is, where you've got orcs and crazy rat people. The Skaven, that's what they're called. Rat people and, undead monsters and stuff. It's the same thing that Total War Warhammer is the same setting as that. So Warhammer 40k Darktide is basically the same thing, but it's set in the Warhammer 40k universe, which is the space universe with guns. So we're adding guns. And basically that's enough for me to kick the hype level for this up quite a bit. I like the Warhammer universe better than the 40k universe, I think. But I would rather shoot guns in the first person co-op game than I, would rather swing a sword, right? I'd rather shoot guns. And so this game is pretty hype on the list for me because it's a cooperative first-person shooter. It's based on it's from a developer that's basically already made this in a different form through Warhammer Vermintide, which I've played and I know is good. But again, like I said, this time we've got guns, so there's a little question to me as to whether or not this is going to be a good game. The real question is, do some of the meta systems and micro progression systems that they put into the game have enough of a hook that I'm going to want to play this obsessively? Or is it going to be kind of similar to Vermintide where I'll play if friends are on, but there's not enough of a hook that I really enjoy that I played, hundreds of hours of it or anything. So Warhammer Darktide. You said it came out. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I know you're old, Murphy. itch.io, all these hip kids and their weird platforms. Okay, so now we're getting into the stuff that you may or may not have heard of. So this first game here you may have heard of because of me, and that is going to be Young Souls. So Young Souls is a game that I actually did play a demo of here during one of the Steam releases, or it might have been on my other channel. I can't remember. But Young Souls is a beat 'em up game, right? Side-scrolling beat 'em up game that I really enjoyed the demo for. The demo was really awesome. It also has co-op. I believe the co-op is only local co-op. If they had online co-op, that would be amazing. But the art style for this game is absolutely sick. The systems look great. The gameplay itself was really fun. They kind of have these like dungeons that you go into and play. I just really enjoyed everything from the demo. I was already hyped about it. It made my list of top most anticipated games for 2021. It got delayed to 2022, so I am still really excited to play this, but I think a lot of my enjoyment of this is going to hinge on whether they add the online co-op or if I have someone to play cooperatively with me, because to me, like, beat 'em up games are fun, but they're a lot more fun when you could play with someone. And so even though I liked everything here, and I do think that I would definitely play this game solo regardless, it's tier 2 because I think my enjoyment of it would be enhanced significantly by playing with another person. And I'm not entirely sure if that's going to be something that I'm able to do if it's limited to couch co-op. So I got to see if it's going to be online co-op or not. So yeah, that's Young Souls. All right, 2 more on this list. So the next game up I have talked about at some point before, but it's Pallia. Pallia I'm actually really excited about. The reason it's tier 2 is because I just don't have enough information to reach tier 1 levels of hype for the game. But Pallia is being developed by a new studio called Singularity 6. Singularity 6 is composed of developers from around the industry, but a large portion of the developers actually came from Blizzard, from the some from the WoW team as well, and they left and they formed this new studio. And the first game that they're working on is called Pallia. It's a community sim game. You got to think like Stardew Valley, the MMO. Essentially, this is a game where combat is not a heavy focus, but it is an MMO. But it's centered around like building a community. It's like if you took player housing, if you took the garrison, but instead of it being instanced, you put it in the open world, and then you built all that up yourself, and everybody had their own house, and you were building a community together and all that kind of stuff. And you went around crafting and gathering, and there is some combat, but it's not like an emphasis on the combat. If you took all that, you smashed it together, like this town, the players would have built this town, is my understanding of how Pallia works. I love the art style. It does have that kind of like Blizzardish, cartoonish art style. The architecture on these buildings looks awesome. It's just like, I've wanted an MMO like this for so long, where you're just decorating houses and building communities and stuff. It's not about like raids. It's not about dungeons. It's not about high stress stuff. Like, you take care of your garden, you collect resources, and you get to put it into a house. I absolutely love the games where you get to build structures and build houses. It's not necessarily, I do like to do the decorating and stuff like that, but like in Fallout 4, I really liked building my house in Fallout 4. In Valheim, when my wife and I played, the main thing I wanted to do was build our house. This is like build a house, the MMO, which for me is super exciting. I think it's super interesting, and I'm really excited to play it and to try it out. I did apply for the creator program. They had a couple of pre-alphas. I didn't get into any of them, and there isn't a lot of information from them. So it's a little hard to put this at tier 1 when there's so much missing information, but I'm so excited about it just with the knowledge we have that it easily makes tier 2. Okay, and then the final game on the list for tier 2 is one I can almost guarantee you have not heard of. It's DC Dual Force. Okay. So this is the third DC game on the list? It is, and it's not the last one. It's not the last one. So this is a upcoming online digital collectible card game based in the DC universe. Y'all know I like my card games, okay? And I'm excited about this one because it's a DC game. Like, how has Marvel not come out with a Hearthstone or a Magic the Gathering or something, like a digital version? It's crazy to me. I think it may be being worked on by Second Breakfast, which is a studio made of former Hearthstone developers. And but you know, that's just a guess. But DC Dual Force is actually a thing. This is a thing that is coming out in 2022. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons why this makes tier 2 for me. It doesn't make tier 1 because a lot of things can go wrong with card games, and they may just not be fun. So I always have that hesitation of getting too hyped. But you've got different cards here. The artwork is looking pretty sick. You know, Batman. We got Harley Quinn. So we have, like, you know, the cool characters. We got Minions. We got Gorilla Grodd, Punchline, Dr. Fate. So we have, you know, different card systems here. This looks like health points to me, etc. The minions are probably the ones you play on the board. They got attack, they got health, we got actions here, etc. So you're gonna have PvP in this game, obviously, but it looks like you're also gonna have playable comic books. So it says an incredible stream of content with a new comic book or a new comic released every week. In an unprecedented partnership with DC Comics, the game will feature all new single-player experiences that draw on over 80 years of comic book history, including all the superheroes and supervillains from the DC universe. This free-to-play single-player CCG experience lets gamers play their favorite comics and earn awards. Okay, so I'm assuming there's PvP. It says digital collectible card game, but like, there's got to be PvP. I think they're just emphasizing the single player stuff here. But either way, like, this is pretty cool, right? So Superman and Batman, mission number 1, Gotham under invasion, you know, against the Joker. So, like, there's a huge single player component to this game as well, coming soon in 2022. And this is being developed by Cryptozoic Entertainment. Okay, now, to my knowledge, I don't think they have done a digital game before. I need to check and see. I don't think they've done a digital. Okay, but Cryptozoic is the company that designed the DC deck building game. If I can find it here. Go DC Comics. Okay, so the DC deck building game. This is a game that I really, really enjoy. I have like almost every edition of this game. And it's at its heart, it's a player versus player deck building game. And that aspect of it is okay. It's fine. But they introduced these Crisis expansion packs for the game right here that made this a cooperative multiplayer deck building game instead. So instead of fighting each other, you are actually trying to defeat the deck. And I literally played this multiple days, multiple hours, huge sessions of this with friends of mine. And the fact that the company that developed this stuff is the company that's working on DC Dual Force, even though they haven't done a digital game, makes me pretty confident that this game is going to be good. So, especially with the emphasis on the single player content that's going to be coming out, coming from Cryptozoic and having played the Crisis expansion games, that shit's fun. So I'm really excited to just, this is so close to a 1 for me, but like I said, you just never know with card games, and this is literally all we have. This is all the info we have, is what you're seeing here on the screen. So, yeah, I haven't seen like actual gameplay or what the interface or UI or anything looks like, so it keeps me from knocking it up to a 1. All right, so we're getting into tier 1. This is the tier that has the most games, but it's also probably going to be the tier that's the easiest to go through because I don't have to explain why it's not tier 1. It is tier 1. This is the shit I'm like insanely excited about. So we're going to talk about the stuff that you guys have probably heard first. So the first game up here is going to be Elden Ring. So Elden Ring is the new game from Software, which is the company behind the Dark Souls games. So this is essentially Dark Souls, the open world action RPG. And it also has a story that is being written by George R.R. Martin, who, just in case you don't know who that is, for some reason, because you've been living under a rock, is the person who wrote Game of Thrones. Okay. So yeah, this is you know, Dark Souls plus open world RPG plus story by George R.R. Martin. Okay. And even though the Dark Souls games themselves were not games that I really got into very much, translating those into an open world and adding the story stuff that they have going on. If you have seen the trailers of this game, the story just seems really interesting. The character design, the monster design is insane. The setting looks crazy. Like, the more videos I watch about this game, the more excited I am to actually play it. And I believe it's coming out 25th of February 2022. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna like consume all my free time when it comes out, because it just looks sick. Yeah, you've probably heard of it. And hopefully you can determine whether you'd be interested just based on Dark Souls open world RPG and story by George R.R. Martin. Why do you have so many R's in your name? I'm just going to call you George. All right, so Elden Ring. Let's see. The next game on here is probably going to be this one. This is still not the last TC game on the list. Okay, but this is Suicide Squad. Kill the Justice League. Okay, so this game, yeah, I'm absolutely excited about this game. So this game is based on the Suicide Squad team, and they're essentially they're in a scenario where the world's greatest superheroes have either had their minds taken over, or they've joined the side of, I think it's Brainiac. I can't remember. They showed him in the trailer briefly. But essentially, like, you can see here that the Flash kind of has gone bad. And basically what the Suicide Squad is doing is they're trying to take out the Justice League, because the Justice League has gone bad. And so you get to play as the Suicide Squad, which is a bunch of oddball characters, you know, like, I don't know the shark's name, Man Shark, something, I don't know. But there's like Boomerang, there's Harley Quinn, there's several different characters that you can play as from the Suicide Squad. This is the actual gameplay that they're showing off here. And the reason this is in tier 1 is because this is being developed by Rocksteady Studios. Rocksteady is the team that did the Batman Arkham games, which were fucking awesome. Okay, and this looks like that taken to the next level. I believe it has co-op. Don't quote me on that yet. Yep. Okay. Multiplayer co-op. Okay. So it's the Arkham games with co-op, where you play as the Suicide Squad, and also just in general, the whole vibe, the aesthetic of this is a lot like brighter and more colorful and more less dark and bleak compared to the Arkham games. So yeah, open world action adventure co-op, DC Comics, Rocksteady Studios, Suicide Squad, like boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I'm hyped about this game. And it should have, should definitely have online co-op. This is a AAA title we're talking about. So, yeah, I could definitely see myself pouring hours and hours and hours into this. Yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped about this. Okay, I think everything else on my list, like, you probably haven't really heard of. So let's go ahead and dive into them. So we have Wonder Woman. I just typed woman instead of wonder. Yes, that's we know it's Wonder Woman. Why did I type Wonder Wonder? Wonder Wonder. Okay, so there is a Wonder Woman game that was announced at the Game Awards. The trailer that they showed was just like Wonder Woman's face. They didn't say shit about this game, but Elden Ring, you mean Breath of the Wild, Dark Souls? Yeah, basically. Yeah. So Wonder Woman. This is the last DC game on the list. What is this, like 5, 6 of them? We had Gotham Knights, DC Heroes and Villains, DC Dual Force, Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman. 5 DC games on my list. That's insane. Not the last comic book game, but the last DC game. Okay, so here is why I am pumped about the Wonder Woman game. Okay, we got the DC brand, right? Which I've already pointed out multiple ways that I like and I'm excited about. Wonder Woman, is she my favorite character? No, I like her in the movies, actually. The movies themselves are not like, they're okay. But Wonder Woman in the movies, I like a lot. And I do like Wonder Woman's fine as a character. But it's a Wonder Woman game. It's being developed by Monolith Studios, or Monolith Productions, okay? And you may be going, who's that? Who's Monolith? Okay, Monolith is the developer of Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor, the Lord of the Rings games that I mentioned earlier in this stream. The open world action Lord of the Rings games, which I poured hours and hours and hours of my time into, that feature the Nemesis system. And we do have the small bit of like info we have is that it will have the Nemesis system. It's built on the Nemesis system. And for the Nemesis system to work, you have yourselves an open world action RPG. So an open world action RPG with the Nemesis system by the team that did Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor with the DC Universe brand, I'm fucking in. Like, yes. It's a third-person open world action adventure game. Wonder Woman's the main character, but you're obviously going to encounter other people from the DC universe as you go. You're bound to fight some of his bosses. It's going to be so interesting to see like the Nemesis system from Lord of the Rings, where it's basically just like a bunch of orcs and stuff, translated over to the DC universe, where it's probably going to be like gangsters and the mob and, I'm trying to think of other... I don't know, maybe like the Court of Owls or something, something crazy will be in there. Like, I'm just really excited about this because of the studio and the games that they've made that I've already played that I really, really have enjoyed. And now they're doing it with another brand because I like Lord of the Rings too. So that made it super interesting. And now they've got another high visibility brand to work with. All right, next up, we've got the only Marvel game that made it. The only Marvel game that made it onto this list. So I'm really excited about this game. This is Marvel Midnight Suns. Okay, Marvel Midnight Suns. I don't know what this is doing here. Okay, there we go. Okay, Marvel Midnight Suns is being developed by... Oh, what is their name? Take-Two and Firaxis. This is, to my knowledge, this is being developed by the XCOM team. Okay, and this is a game where you get to play as Marvel characters with XCOM-style gameplay, but a heavy emphasis on the story, which is based on a comic book story arc that is a lot more grim and dark than a lot of the other story arcs that are out there. So this is not going to be like happy comedic, Avengers type stuff. This is some darker and grittier content that you're going to go through here. I mean, we got Magic. Like, Magic is such a cool character. We got Wolverine. It does have a card system, but the card system is not necessarily like a deck builder. It just seems more like your actions are based on the cards that you have available. But it's not like you have like 30 cards in a deck and you're trying to draw the right ones. It's like you have, 10 or whatever, and whatever comes up is what you get to choose from during the turn. But you are creating your own character to interact with the characters in Midnight Suns. You saw Miss Marvel was right there. Again, like it's saying the darker side of Marvel. I would encourage you to, you got Doctor Strange, just the characters they're including here kind of tell you like where it's going. But I would encourage you to check out one of the videos to kind of get a feel for the atmosphere of the game and kind of what the gameplay style is going to be like. But it's like XCOM with Marvel characters with a dark storyline where you get to play as your own character that you create. I'm really pumped about this. I've always wanted to play an XCOM game and really get into it, but I'm just not that into aliens. And so having it set with Marvel characters is the perfect reason for me to try and play. These spell effects, they just look sick. So that's Marvel's Midnight Suns. All right, next up we've got Jack Move. So now we're getting into the stuff that is pretty vague. So Jack Move is a JRPG that's coming up. It's a 100% an indie game here. The graphics on this are awesome. I played the demo during the Steam Festival and it hooked me, and I was like, this is the first time since like Final Fantasy like 10 or 9 that I've wanted to play a game with the same system as those kind of games and actually like play the whole thing, and it wasn't just a curiosity. I love the art style for this game. The sound effects are awesome. The music's awesome. The environments look sick. There's just a lot to like about this game. They basically take everything from a classic Final Fantasy and they translate it into cyberpunk and bring it up to date with like modern aesthetic principles. So super awesome game. These kind of games don't make my list very much anymore, even though they were a staple of my gaming career when I was in my teens. I had a huge like 40 plus game collection just for PS2 of just RPGs. Turn-based RPGs like this, and I don't get into them very often anymore, but Jack Move has made the list for me because it looks so good. All right, the next game on the list is going to be Hellcard. So Hellcard I had on my list for 2021, but it got delayed. Thanks, COVID. You're awesome. Hellcard is a cooperative roguelike deck builder. There has been a demo that has been released that I have played, and I played the demo for this game for almost 10 hours with friends. It's a cooperative deck builder. You can play with up to 3 friends. You have simultaneous actions where you're all basically trying to do whatever you can to defend against waves of monsters that are trying to destroy all of you. It's really fun. It's dynamic. It really, really encourages cooperative play between you and your friends. You can play cooperatively online. I just had a great time. I hopped into Discord with a friend or two, and we just played this game for hours. So I'm excited for the full thing to come out because I know what we got was only a taste. And yeah, that's all that's all there is to it. I've already played the game, and if they just put out the demo, I would probably still buy it. So it's definitely up there on my list. Next, we have 2 actually other RPGs similar to Jack Move that have made the list here. So the first one we have is Chained Echoes. So Chained Echoes is a 2D RPG. Come on. There we go. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with their website, so we'll go to it. We'll go to Steam, I guess. All right, so Chained Echoes is a 16-bit SNES style RPG. I put this one on my list for 2021 as well. It got delayed, but this is a game where they have a lot of moving parts, which if they do them correctly, it's going to make for a vast and immersive RPG game with a lot of systems that you can get into and play through. So it does have classic like Final Fantasy, your team on one side, the other team on the other side battles. But there's also some other components to this as well, where you actually have like a mech. If you could see it here in the cutscene, we're going to skip ahead a little bit. Yeah, so you have like a mech that you can customize. You've got different skills and systems. You can see the battles here are very much like Final Fantasy style. As well, you've got your turn order systems in the corner, your HP. But they're adding in all these other aspects here, like from what I know, there's like bounties and everything else. Like here you're doing your mech battles. You've got an overworld with an airship, just like you would have in like Final Fantasy VII. Just lots of good stuff. This just looks like a really high quality, old school style RPG. Even though it's 16-bit SNES style, it reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy VII. And because of that, because of the quality and all the different systems that are included, this doesn't look like an RPG Maker game like there are 80 million of. And so I'm pretty excited about it. The next game that's like this is Sea of Stars. And Sea of Stars is being developed by a studio that so far, I believe, has put out one or two games that were critically acclaimed. They put out The Messenger, I believe. Let's see. This is Sabotage Studio. This is the studio behind this. And then, so they put out, The Messenger. So if you look up The Messenger game, so we can click on Steam. Very positive. So 89% and 94% on the reviews here. But this is a game that is a retro style RPG that's inspired by Chrono Trigger and other games similar to it. This game looks absolutely fantastic. The production quality on this is insane. So that's the overworld. Here we're just running through dungeons and stuff like that. Just like the lighting, the character design, the enemy design, everything looks absolutely amazing. The composer is from Chrono Trigger as well. You got a glimpse of kind of the battle system there, where you are going into like the Chrono Trigger style battle system. When your party encounters the enemy, you just kind of split right there and start battling. You've got, all the classic Final Fantasy style stuff you would expect, your different moves and skills, different, ways to kit out your characters, different items. It just looks really, really good. And this is, again, I like this is holiday 2022. It's so far away. I like the RPG Maker style RPGs that aren't developed by people using RPG Maker. I know that's a lot, but when a studio has the ability to create an RPG Maker style RPG, but they have the resources to develop their own art, their own soundtracks, their own systems, they're not reusing the same stuff, they can actually put in custom pixel art and everything to make the game look amazing. That pushes the game from like something I'm just going to skip over to something I'm actively going to be like, yo, let me check this out, because this could be addictively fun. So I actually ended up with 3 of those style games on my list for 2022, and that was Sea of Stars, Chained Echoes, and Jack Move. All right, we got a couple of more games here on the list, and I kind of saved some of the ones I'm the most excited for the end. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. We got 3. We got 3 left. Okay, 3 left. So let's get into the top 3. I don't know if they're top 3. I'm not going to say they're top 3, but they're the 3 that I have left on this list in my tier 1 for most anticipated games of 2022. So we're going to start with This one. Lightyear Frontier. Okay, Lightyear Frontier is a game that I'm very, very excited about. Hey, you hush. None of that. I mean, I do want to put the trailer on, but not with the music. Okay, so super short trailer. It doesn't really show off much, but this basically looks like a first-person Stardew Valley meets Astroneer. Okay, and I am very much in the mindset where I want to just have like chill games that I can play and have fun in, and don't have to be like super stressed out. Twitch reactions, you know, all this kind of stuff. I just want to like get into a game and just kind of like zen and just zone out. And so you guys may know that Astroneer is a game that I really enjoy and have played a lot of. It's a game that I play with my wife. You basically get put on a planet and you have to dig up resources and build up your machines and stuff and try to launch yourself to the next planet. This looks kind of like that, except instead of doing that, you're actually building a farm in outer space. And you'll see here where they have like the fields and stuff that pop up, and you're in a mech, first person style. You're going to go around and gather resources and scout locations and all that kind of stuff. But you're also just like building your base, building your farm, building your windmills and everything, and trying to get this all going. And it's something you can play cooperatively with up to 3 other players. So it's 4-player co-op. We don't have a whole ton of information about the game because it is early on in development. I don't have like confirmation, I think, that it's coming in 2022. But let's see. For wishlist on Steam, it just says TBA early access. So it'll probably be out in early access in 2022. But yeah, online co-op chill game. It's the same kind of thing as with like Pallia, where it's just the ability to play with your friends and just do something that is, productive but relaxing. So this video actually is showing a little bit more of what you have to do. So some of the gathering and watering of the plants and stuff. All right, next up we have the game that is in the, what is the word I'm looking for? The thumbnail. The game in the thumbnail. This is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Such a long title. So I can't tell you guys how hyped I am about this stupid game. I would probably go so far as to say that my favorite game on the Super Nintendo was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time. Turtles in Time was cool. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you travel through time and you just beat up enemies, and it's Ninja Turtles with Shredder and Master Splinter and Bebop and Rocksteady and all that stuff. And this game, Shredder's Revenge, is the spiritual successor to Turtles in Time. So they are literally taking one of my all-time favorite childhood games and creating a sequel that, from everything I've seen, looks like just like a, what is the word that I'm looking for? Not accurate. I don't know the word I'm looking for here. It looks like a respectful, I guess, honest sequel to the game. This gameplay that you're seeing here looks like Turtles in Time, but it looks like Turtles in Time updated for 2021 or 2022. And I can't emphasize how excited I am to play this. This is another one that it's, a beat 'em up that you could play with multiple people. I don't know. I'm assuming this is going to have online because it does have the backing of like Nickelodeon behind it. But who's the studio? The studio is .emu, which I've never heard of .emu. I don't know what they've done before. But okay, they've done Windjammers. Metal Slug Tactics. Okay, yeah, they've got some games under their belt for sure. And I mean, it honestly can't be that hard. Okay. They did Streets of Rage 4. Good enough. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this is literally just bringing my childhood back. I'm just, whenever this game comes out, I'm probably just gonna like take 2 days off from work with somebody and just play the hell out of it. And I also saw that they're adding in April O'Neil as a playable character, I believe. But yeah, I'm so pumped. So pumped about this stupid Ninja Turtles game. All right, and then the last game on the list is the game that made my number one for 2021, and then it got delayed. And this is the game that, Murphy, if you're still watching, it's the game I sent you links for. It is officially coming out in early access, Q2 of 2022. And this is the other Heroes of Might and Magic style game that I was talking about. The graphics on this are so good. It's the same like overworld, like explore, find treasure chests, resources, etc. But the battles are still classic Heroes of Might and Magic style, where you're going to go in and you're going to have your turn-based battles. I'm so freaking pumped for this game. I can't, like, like, when I saw the first trailer, I would have purchased the game if it was available. And it has not been available. They have not made it available. They just keep, putting out videos. Hey, here's what we're doing. Here's some more art you're going to love, by the way. And it's finally coming to early. I don't care. I don't care if it's early access. I can't explain like how pumped I am for this ridiculous game. It looks like, again, this is like, we're talking games that are just bringing back, like not necessarily my childhood, but childhood, teens, etc. Like, I loved playing Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and this is taking that and just bringing it into the modern era in terms of graphics, in terms of new game design principles. How is my own video that I'm literally doing right now on the... Anyway, okay. Yeah. So Heroes of Might and Magic style, there's 4 different factions. You have the Arleon, the Baria, the Rana, and the Barony of Loth. So this is like the undead faction. These are your swamp-dwelling voodoo people, basically. These are your traditional like army style, and then these are kind of like the desert tribes. So you can challenge your friends to a duel. So it does have, you've got the single player adventure. It also does have multiplayer. In-game level editor. It's going to have a campaign. I mean, just the list goes on and on. There's no way I don't make videos for this on the channel. Like, so good. So I just got to wait, a couple months, but I'll have Elden Ring and I'll have Heroes Hour and some other games in there to kind of hold me over until this comes out. But I'm super pumped about this. So that's my list, you guys. That's currently what I'm the most excited about for 2022. Murphy says, love this. I know, man. This game it looks so good. So this is my list of games I'm the most excited about for 2022. I wanted to get this out to you guys. I did it as a live stream just because I wanted to make sure it got done. Even though I've said in the past, like being able to do the actual kind of like structured videos works a little bit better. I kind of wanted to give you guys some hang out with me material here at the end of the year too. Because I know, like I said, it's going to get crazy busy for me. Look forward to, like I said, I'm still intending to do a anime season preview live stream again before the end of the year. I'll have that one scheduled out for you guys ahead of time so that you can show up and join. And, it's not a random like 10 p.m. in the evening, 11 p.m. in the evening kind of spontaneous stream. But other than that, thanks you guys for being a part of the channel so far this year. I believe that Altair is going to start doing streaming stuff Q1 or Q2 next year. And when they do, hopefully I'm in a spot where I can start doing that. I am pretty excited about that, about being able to start on Altair with no preconceived ideas of what I'm supposed to do in terms of streaming and everything. So when I get more information about that, I'll pass that along to you guys as well. So I'm anticipating that I'm not going to be in a position to stream or possibly make videos super frequently for probably the first 3 to 6 months of next year. I'll have to see. Like, I may get lucky, and where I'm going to stay, I may be able to make videos, you know, once or twice a week or something, just depending on how things work out. But I'm going to be staying with family members, and obviously I can't impose on them and be like, y'all need to go away and be quiet because I got to make videos. So I got to do what I got to do until I'm able to get my own place up in New York. And until that happens, we're just going to play it by ear. And yeah. So happy holidays to all you guys. Let me know in the comment section below what games you're anticipating for 2022. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of what is left of 2021. I'm really hoping that 2022 we can get back to some normalcy. I would love to be able to go to the theaters again and just do other things. But you know, who knows how it's going to turn out. But either way, I'm wishing you guys the best. And I just wanted to say thanks again for being a part of the channel. And I'll see you on the next video. Yeah. All right, Murphy, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad I caught somebody who could tune in and take a look. Did anything really stand out to you besides the Heroes of Might and Magic stuff? Or is it pretty much just that? Are you also into playing 5 different DC games in 1 year? Excited for the PS5? Are you actually buying one, or you're excited to eventually buy one? Because, like, good luck. I'm hoping that maybe by this time next year, it'll be feasible to buy. I'll probably end up getting the new Xbox because crossplay with the Games Pass and the PC Games Pass and everything is just too good. PS5 doesn't have like anything on that, unfortunately. Some of the DC games sounding good. I really want them to bring Persona 5 to PC. That's something that I haven't heard announced, but I'm still like waiting on. Although I don't know if I'll actually end up playing it. A buddy of mine told me that it was a lot more reading and school management than it was battles. And if that's the case, then that really doesn't appeal to me. So you're eventually going to get a PS5? Well, best of luck trying to get a hold of one. So, all right, well, I'm going to hop off here and go back to playing my mobile games. Or sleeping. I don't know. I'm trying to rest up as much as possible. It's been absolutely hectic. Like I mentioned before, it's been crazy at work. I am going to be off for 5 days starting on Thursday. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also just planning on eat, sleep, games, and possibly the anime stream in there, but I don't know because I don't want to do it during Christmas when nobody can show up. So, all right, everybody. I'll catch you later. Peace.